Henry Turner and the Mystery of the Missing Sister. Chapter 4. Deeper Investigations. Detective Henry Turner returned to his office, the weight of the newly discovered evidence heavy on his mind. The documents and photos from the warehouse pointed to a larger conspiracy, and he knew he needed to tread carefully. With a list of high-profile individuals potentially involved, Henry decided to focus on the two key figures, Charles Montgomery and Richard Hale. His first stop was a closer examination of Charles Montgomery's business dealings. Henry delved into Charles's financial records, tracing a series of suspicious transactions that linked him to various shell companies and offshore accounts. These transactions suggested a network of illegal activities, including money laundering and arms deals. Henry decided to pay Charles another visit, this time with more pointed questions. He arrived at Charles's penthouse, the opulence of the place now overshadowed by the dark secrets he suspected it hid. Charles greeted him with a forced smile. "Detective Turner, back so soon? Have you made any progress on Emily's case?" Charles asked, feigning concern. Henry didn't mince words. "I need to know about your business dealings, Charles. Specifically, your connections to these shell companies and offshore accounts." He laid out copies of the financial records on the table. Charles's expression hardened. "I don't know what you're talking about. My business is legitimate." Henry leaned in, his voice low and menacing. "Cut the act, Charles. I have enough evidence to suggest otherwise. Emily was digging into your activities before she disappeared. What did she find that made you want to silence her?" For a moment, Charles's composure faltered, but he quickly regained it. "You're barking up the wrong tree, Detective. I had no reason to harm Emily. Yes, she was looking into my business, but she was doing it out of concern. We were friends." Henry knew he wouldn't get more from Charles without hard evidence linking him directly to Emily's disappearance. He decided to shift his focus to the people around Charles who might know more about his operations. One name stood out: Victor Larson. Victor had already admitted to providing Emily with information about Charles's dealings. Henry decided to press him further, this time with the evidence from the warehouse. He found Victor at a downtown bar, just as before, but this time, the atmosphere was tense. "Victor, we need to talk again," Henry said, taking a seat next to him. Victor glanced around nervously. "What now, Detective?" Henry placed the documents from the warehouse in front of Victor. "I found these at a warehouse. They confirm Emily's suspicions about Charles. I need you to tell me everything you know. What exactly did you give Emily, and why?" Victor's eyes widened as he scanned the documents. "This is dangerous stuff, Turner. If Charles finds out I talked to you, I'm as good as dead." "Then you'd better make sure he doesn't find out," Henry replied. "Tell me what you know, and I'll make sure you're protected." Victor sighed, running a hand through his hair. Emily was looking into a deal Charles was making with some foreign arms dealers. She found out he was smuggling weapons through his legitimate businesses. She came to me because she needed proof, something concrete to take to the authorities. Henry's mind raced. Did she get the proof? Victor nodded. "Yes, I gave her documents and recordings of meetings. She was planning to confront Charles and then go to the police." Where are those documents now? Henry asked urgently. I don't know, Victor admitted. She took them with her. She said she'd keep them safe until she could use them. Henry left the bar, his thoughts a whirlwind. Emily had uncovered the evidence, but now it was missing. His next move was to search Emily's apartment again, this time with a focus on finding the hidden documents. At Emily's apartment, Henry methodically searched every corner, looking for any place she might have hidden the evidence. Finally, he found a small safe concealed behind a painting in her study. Using tools from his kit, he carefully picked the lock and opened the safe. Inside were the documents and recordings Victor had mentioned. Henry skimmed through the contents, confirming the details of Charles's illegal arms deals and the involvement of several high-profile individuals. This was the proof he needed, but it also painted a target on his back. He knew he had to move quickly to secure Emily's safety and bring the perpetrators to justice. Armed with the new evidence, Henry decided to confront Richard Hale again. He found Richard at his office, visibly anxious. Detective Turner, what's going on? Have you found Emily? Richard asked, his voice shaking. I'm getting closer, Henry replied. But I need you to be honest with me, Richard. Did you know about Charles's illegal activities? Richard's face went pale. I had my suspicions, but I didn't have proof. Emily was determined to expose him. She thought it was the right thing to do. Henry laid the documents on Richard's desk. Emily found the proof. These documents link Charles to a network of illegal arms deals. She had them hidden in her apartment. I need to know if you had any involvement in this. Richard stared at the documents, shock and fear etched on his face. No, I swear, I had nothing to do with this. I tried to talk her out of it, but she wouldn't listen. She said she had to do it for justice. Henry believed Richard's fear was genuine, but he still needed to verify his claims. Where were you the night Emily disappeared? I was at the gala. Then I went home. I was worried about her, but I didn't know what else to do, Richard replied, his voice trembling. Henry left Richard's office with a sense of urgency. He had the evidence to expose Charles and his associates, but he needed to find Emily before it was too late. He decided to revisit the remote cabin he had investigated earlier, hoping to find more clues about Emily's whereabouts. The drive to the cabin was long and tense. As Henry approached, he noticed signs of recent activity, footprints in the mud, and a car parked nearby. Carefully, he made his way inside, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. In the basement, Henry found a small room that had been hastily abandoned. There were signs that someone had been held there: ropes, discarded food containers, and a faint scent of perfume that he recognized as Emily's. Henry's heart pounded as he realized he was on the right track. He found a discarded cell phone and turned it on, hoping to find any clue that could lead him to Emily. The phone had a few text messages, the most recent one reading, "We're moving her to a new location. Be ready." Henry knew time was running out. He called for backup, providing the address of the cabin and the details he had uncovered. With the evidence in hand and the police on their way, Henry steeled himself for the final confrontation. He had to find Emily before she was moved again. The deeper he dug, the more dangerous the situation became. But Henry Turner was determined to see justice served, no matter the cost.